Preface letter. The Cemetery of Refused Virtues. Dear reader, I never had children, never wanted any, and I'm all the better for it. I never regret it, and I congratulate myself on it as often as I can. For a time, I had the illusion that I could be a father to two young adults, a boy and a girl, whose mother has shared my life for over 20 years. But they first didn't want it, then did, and finally didn't want it all. One cannot be the father of someone who does not want it, after having wanted it without wanting it, while still wanting it. For a few months, during which I was also asked to be both the father and grandfather of this girl's child, I imagined that we could build a family. In other words, in the Nietzschean sense, that it was possible to make marriage and procreation a path toward the overman. From his perspective, I believed it was possible to create a kind of micro-community in which life could unfold and expand according to chosen values. I was thinking of a few guiding principles, but it would have been necessary for these unfinished and incomplete souls to understand that one has not even begun if one has never done anything to begin. It's a prerequisite without which nothing is possible. This prerequisite never was. The desire to sculpt one's existence as one would a statue, the yearning to be more than oneself, and, to that end, to go beyond oneself, the linking and sublimation of values and theoretical virtues in a daily practice, the demand for a righteous life, the aspiration to morality in minute detail, the ethical existence, the concern to build one's life as a work completed only by death. All this seemed to me an exciting existential program. Even more so, to live and build together. What were these values? To begin with, concern for others, of which politeness is the first expression. Then attentiveness, benevolence, delicacy, forbearance, sharing, justice and fairness, honesty, the importance of keeping one's word. Within oneself, one must favor tension over slackness. Uprightness is a good and beautiful metaphor. A righteous being, a righteous life. This, I thought, could lead to a beautiful person, the goal of a shared ethics. A beautiful person, a beautiful family, just as there can also be a beautiful couple. For me, it was a matter of explaining that affection is a construction, love a will, and friendship a power, and that affection, love, and friendship are not at all pure ideas or ideal notions, but proofs to be constantly given. Proofs of affection, proofs of love, proofs of friendship. This is an existential program vast enough to fill an entire life. Alas, popular wisdom says you cannot feed and water a donkey that is neither hungry nor thirsty. I had to tuck away my proposal the way one stores useless or broken things in a cellar, where they now form a cemetery of rejected virtues. The offering of an aesthetic ethic to be built and shared had been received like a poisoned gift, whereas I saw in it, for my part, an opportunity to pass on, in concentrated form, everything I had to learn alone and over a long time. This gift of a joyful knowledge came back to me as a countergift in the form of slaps. I will not dwell on the details of this story already written for my own edification. However, I do not wish for this cemetery of rejected virtues to be covered with the dust that makes things disappear under a veil of ashes. And it is to you, dear reader, that I owe the desire to give what had been refused me, not to leave those fragments of Roman statues to the sole company of mice and spiders. Meeting you, eager to know and to learn, seekers of meaning and direction, lovers of morality and ethics, impatient for virtues and values. Seeing you longing for that possible uprightness in a collapsing world, a world you will witness sinking into the necropolis of vanished civilizations more than I will. Everything you gave me that evening, I wanted to give back to you through these letters. Each an opportunity to map out a world in which you will have to chart your own course. As a teenager, I was deeply moved by Rilke's letters to a young poet. With all due proportion, of course, here are a few letters for young actors and authors of themselves, in other words, budding philosophers. Allow me to hope that, beyond you, they may also be useful to other young women and young men who, after my lectures, so often come to ask me, for what I cannot give in just a few minutes, but which I am happy to offer them with this little book. It is a kind of existential manual for sailing in stormy weather.